Earlier this month, Harry and Meghan announced they're expecting baby number 2, of course. So what might pregnancy and childbirth look like now they're in LA? If Harry wants to fit in with the Californian lifestyle, he and Meghan might be looking to draw up a baby contract, or baby nut, as they're being called. They've become quite popular in the Golden State and lay out basically the division of childcare, domestic chores and even nappy changes. Good idea, do you think, Judi?
I don't know, I'm just trying to find his number. I didn't know about his contract. No, honestly. I'm trying to speak to him, because seriously. No, I'm a single parent now, and when I had my second child, obviously, I had to split up with my kid's dad and so on, and it was different for me. I just did it all by myself, so, and in both instances. But I think, it's something you should have a conversation with, but for me as a single parent, I feel like that contract needs to be done with family as well, because when I had my baby, my sister, I was like, OK, you're on your own. I'm going to come round and I'm going to help you, I'm going to be there. And my baby was crying, and my daughter just, my sister turned to me and was like, babes, your baby's crying. And she just rolled back over. So what happened to the contract there, sis? You know what I mean? So I think it's something that should be discussed, definitely.
It's all very well writing it, but could you actually stick to it?
Wow, exactly. I mean, contract-wise, Penny, is this something you and Rod have done?
Not at all, not a contract, but... having had the experience he's had in the past with other children and mothers, he brought some wise words to the hospital that day, along with our paediatrician that I'm not sure he had cahoots with. But while I was pregnant, Rod has said to me, darling, I've had this experience and there's one thing I'm a little worried about, and that's getting pushed out of the picture. I understand that the baby needs you, you'll be breastfeeding, but please don't neglect me. And I'm like, darling, I wouldn't do that. But of course, when baby comes along and you've got your baby brain on and all of that and you're breastfeeding, it's difficult. But I made a very conscious effort to make sure that my husband didn't feel left out.
Because he didn't want the baby in the bed, did he?
No, he said one golden rule, no baby in the bed, which I thought that was acceptable enough. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're living with someone, you have to make compromises. Yeah. And I agree that families should probably make these agreements. Just because you can rely on your mother, maybe, or grandparents, you shouldn't expect them to be there every beck and call, because they've got their own lives. So it kind of makes sense that you sort of have a little gentle pathway about who's going to be responsible for what. But so our baby stayed in the cot next to the bed, but not in the bed.
I was just trying to think if I'd have been able to keep that with Mark. Yes, the baby, and I like, baby, boy, there it is. I mean, I had no reason on anything once I'd had her.
I mean, of course, the guidance, of course, is that you don't have baby in the bed. You know, what you did, Penny, is essentially what the guidance is, where newborns are concerned. But that sleep deprivationness of having a new baby...
Oh, it's a killer.
I mean, there is nothing comparable to it. And I remember when I first got pregnant, my friend Lawrence emailed me and he said, I know you don't think we do this, but, here are some tips when it comes to sleep training. And I was like, no, I won't need that. I won't need that at all. It came to Alfie being 3 months old, and I just thought, I need to work out what's happening with the sleep training thing, because I was getting...
Where's that email?
Yeah, I basically went on in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, breastfeeding, searching for Lawrence's email, because I thought, I just cannot do this. Because sleep, and I know that sleep deprivation is something that you also sort of suffered with and found quite difficult. But it was interesting, Penny, but I think it was interesting it was a guy that was telling me and giving me advice on what to do with that sleep deprivation. So I'm not sure there's women that really talk about it that much.
No, it's the same with the paediatrician. When he advised me to make sure I don't neglect my husband, he also gave me advice with the baby of you're just going to have to let him cry, because he cries and he knows that you'll appear, you'll provide lovely, warm, sweet milk. So, of course, he's going to cry out for that every single night. So if you don't run to him when he starts crying, he'll be like, oh, it's not going to happen anymore. And sure enough, although it was 2 nights of hell, he stopped waking up. So our paediatrician really did know what he was talking about. To the point where I took his advice when he suggested, that it's so important to take your husband's needs into account, that I gave birth about 4 o'clock in the evening, And my brother and his wife were due to come up to see me at the hospital. So Rod had preempted and booked dinner, expecting that I would probably stay in hospital. But I thought, no, I'm going to start as how I mean to go on. And I went for dinner with them.
Oh.
Bearing in mind that I'd had stitches, and the nurses were really concerned.
No, my vagina's hurting. Just thinking about this.
They said, you might hemorrhage. I said, it's okay, my brother's a paramedic, and we're just round the corner. You know, I was in euphoria. You know, those few hours after giving birth, you're on another planet. So but I had to sit with one cheek on the chair and the rest off because of the pain. And I got my dinner down me, and then my mum, who was at the hospital with my son, called and said, darling, we need you back, baby's crying for milk. I was like, oh yeah. And disappeared back to the hospital, left them to it, and rest is history.
So many questions.
I mean, I'm surprised the restaurant didn't call you and say, hello, you left something behind.
No, the baby was at the hospital.
I'm talking about her bits.
So let me get this straight. You gave birth at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. You went out for dinner like 2-3 hours later.
Yeah,
with stitches. With stitches. She had stitches. Yeah.
I mean, that is dedication to your man on a whole different level, Penny.
And you know what it feels like, ladies.
Heels on, though.
She didn't have her heels on.
Did you have a full face of makeup?
I don't recall that. I was just in that euphoria, as you say, that kind of just glow, and
amazing.
So happy the baby was healthy. And I was like, why not? Celebration. And but then it all hit home, and then it went. Yeah.
No, but let's rewind a bit first. What did you order to eat?
I can't remember.
Because when I'm thinking about, when you like the Judi, I mean, if you think about just trying to get to the toilet after giving birth.
Remembering what it felt like after, it just felt like down there was going, hello.
I was on painkillers.
Wow.
But you had stitches and you went to the restaurant. I mean, I've never heard anything like that.
Now, one part of this story that these ladies don't know, but you and I do know, Penny, is that very shortly after your waters broke with baby number one, with Alistair, you actually had a plaster cast done of your body just after your waters had broken.
I mean, who are you?
Look, there it is. That's the plaster cast of Penny just after her waters had broken.
Wow.
The nurse, the midwife had told me, if your waters break and they're clear, then there's no need to panic. So I didn't panic, and my appointment was due to go get the cast done, and my waters broke a few days early. So we went to the appointment, and the woman said, oh, when are you due? And I just went, elbowed my husband, shh. We got the cast done and then went to the hospital.
And she had a slip disc.
I mean...
I know, I'm mad. Crazy woman.
I mean, do you know what I'm going to do? I think we've probably a good chance for us to go to a break so we can deal with our shock.